to the show
that informs, improves, and inspires racers everywhere.
The Northwest Race Report. The Northwest Race Report is brought to you by O'Hagan's Kart Supply, Lebanon, Oregon. You want to win? O'Hagan's wants to help. And by True Tech Automotive, Hazeldale, Washington. Get your car, truck, or tow rig repaired the right way, the True Tech way. And by Scott Seal Coat and Striping, Federal Way. For over 25 years, whether you're sealing or striping, you can count on Scott. And by Southern Oregon's karting headquarters, Speed City LLC, keeping racers on track with quality support and friendship. You're tuned in to the Northwest Race Report exclusively at terrybridges.com. And now back to your horsepower and performance hosts, Terry Bridges and Glenn Lippy Tower. Oh, what is going on, racers? Let's see, who is P1 tonight? Does he do it? He does! Brent Meyer, P1, back-to-back. Unbelievable. Wow. That's crazy cool. Brent Meyer, P1. Brian Esquini in the second spot. Sean Hulbert, sup, in third. Fourth will be the Rocket, Ronnie Cox. Fifth will be NWKD, Northwest Kart Dates. Derek Biddle in the house. Shane Smith, what? Yo, baby. Brent, if I have to come to your house and cut the wires, I will. The Rocket wants that P1 bad. Yeah, he hasn't been able to do it. Hey, big want to welcome everybody. I'm your horsepower and performance host, Terry Bridges. And sitting in with, finally, our team back together. The Prez. Glenn, Lippy Tower. What's up, Lip?
It's all good in the hood. I know I ran away for a few episodes, but I'm back.
And the man they call the Loader. He's the hottest thing since popcorn right now. He's like the broadcaster of the month. He's like killing it. The Loader's been everywhere. What's up, Jeffrey?
Oh, tired.
Yeah, you said you got a busy week this week, huh?
Oh, yeah. Get up. I got to be at work at 3 in the morning, and the next day I got to be at work at midnight.
And you got to work 15 hours.
Yeah, got to work all day. We're short-handed right now, so.
Really? Or does that mean their hands aren't very long? Or
yeah, some of them aren't very long. They don't wrap around the shovel. They're afraid of it.
Hey, I want to give a big happy birthday to one hell of a guy. He is big in our sport. He's been in our sport for decades, and he's shaped it. That is Mr. Mike Burris. Happy birthday, Mike Burris. Christopher Topher Rowling. Scott Dory is turning 60 today. Wow, hard to imagine that. Caleb Hart. Pete Hawkins, quarter midget engine builder extraordinaire. Caleb Johnson. Chuck Robinson. There's a name I haven't heard in a long time, Lippy.
Oh, boy. Yeah, no, we haven't. I know he's still around, but I haven't heard it.
Yeah. His kid, what was his kid's name? He was good. He was really good.
Don't know.
Daniel Watkins celebrating a birthday.
Yeah.
Braden Taylor and Dave Warden all, having a birthday today. Want to give a shout out to Judges Performance, Custom Engineering Service at Graham, Washington, 253-359-0635. That's the Iron Man. He's got some cool custom mounts. You should check him out. JudgesPerformance.com. Check him out, or check him out at Judges Performance on Facebook. They're good stuff. Really good stuff.
Lots of good things there. Useful stuff.
Yeah, the Hitman's son's in a cast. I didn't hear. Did anybody hear what happened?
Something with his arm.
Or his arm is in a cast. I don't know what happened to the mini Hitman, but yeah, mini Hitman's in a cast. Well, I bet he's a handful.
Yeah, I think she said that we asked her what he wanted, and he said he wanted it off.
Yeah. Can you blame him?
No.
Not at all. Boy, we got all kinds of results. We got Dirt Cup results with the Loader. Man, we got a whole bunch of good stuff coming up. Our guest tonight, our Blue Line Graphics in the seat guest, is going to be none other than Mr. Chris Egger. And some of you may know him. He is the owner of the Path Acres Racing Complex down in Canby. And we're going to be talking to him a little bit about what's going on in karting, a little bit about the big drift scene, because PARC is huge, excuse me, into the drifting. And before I get going, we've got some pens here. Jeff, will you read what the pen says on here?
Do I have to put my glasses on? Stolen from Stimpy's Sports Bar and Grill.
Yep. When they weren't looking.
That's cool.
It is cool. Big shout out to Steve Seiler for making that happen. And that's pretty cool. That was pretty fun last week. Good food. Good beer. They have my favorite on tap. Irish Death.
I was going to say, what isn't your favorite?
Yeah. It was yummy. And big shout out to Robbie Yao and Renee Angel, who made it down. And so that's pretty cool. What's on with you guys?
Just trying to survive.
You got your stogie, I see.
Got my stogie. I just better not light it in here.
Oh, I wouldn't do that.
We're having Coney Island
root beer
from the Coney Island Brewing Company. It says here for adults only. But we are having some Coney Island hard root beers. Pretty good.
Tasty.
Yes.
Looks like Derek agrees with you.
For sure.
Irish Death.
Well, Derek, just remember, anything dark is good. Just kidding.
Ho, ho, ho. Ho.
No. So, Lippy, what's been up with you? We got a couple minutes.
Just the same old story. I just can't seem to have enough hours in the day.
Overworked and underpaid?
That's pretty much it. I like to say overbooked and behind.
Overbooked and behind.
That's pretty much my story.
Who's doing your booking?
Yeah, it's a bad guy that answers the phone.
Yeah, I can do that.
So Lippy's in double negative mode tonight.
Yeah, for sure.
Overbooked and
behind. Yeah.
Double negative before you even start.
Shout out to the wife who's come to work with me today, tomorrow, and the next day, just trying to help me get caught up. So
really,
that's going to help out immensely.
What is she? Quite the carpenter?
Yeah, she's the only one that went to school for it. So
she's the only one that went to school for it.
Yeah, she went to carpentry school.
Oh, so she's the boss.
Yeah.
Oh, now the truth comes out. Lippy, you've been holding back.
See how that works?
He's laughing too. Like he kept it hid for a long time.
Well, my problem is with the 2x4, I cut it off twice and it's still too short. I don't understand.
You mean it's never too long?
Never too long.
Yeah, board stretchers are hard to come by.
At least with metal, I can weld it back together.
Yeah, you can gap rod it for sure. But wow, that's awesome. Well, good to see. Big 4th coming up.
Yeah.
Anybody got any big hot plans?
I got the family thing going on myself.
Yep, I'll be up at Strebe.
Oh yeah,
that's going to be awesome. Wife's going with me.
It's always a good time up there.
Man, it is. It's going to be awesome. It's too bad it's on a Tuesday because the fireworks deal is going to be kind of a bummer too. But nonetheless, it's still going to be cool. It's certainly not Matt Strebe's fault that things are on. But
no, shout out to Strebe and to Uncle Chuck, who both offered to put a ride together for me to make it back up there this year. But they didn't get me soon enough, and the wife had already made plans. So
well, maybe we can put my wife in it.
Oh, there you go.
If Uncle Chuck, if you're still there, maybe.
Well, I think it's one of Strebe's backup carts that was around.
That might be good. Wouldn't that be cool?
It'd be a good time. Might be an open seat. You'll have to check it out.
I will have to do that. That would be so cool. Yeah. Results, man. There is a bunch.
Been a busy week.
Boy, I guess. So let's do it. Let's get into that. If you're serious about racing, you're constantly looking for an edge. A tenth here, a pound there. It's a nonstop pursuit to find a quicker way around the racetrack. See High Performance believes to beat the racetrack, you must become the racetrack. And that is the thought process behind all of their innovative speed products. From their line of Superfly bodies and wings to the latest dual-disc center vane super brake, it's all about finding a quicker way around the racetrack. With 45 years of innovation, C High Performance is dedicated to helping racers of all skill levels find an edge. Whether it's horsepower tuning, chassis dialing, or tire science, it's their commitment to innovation that sets them apart from the rest. Innovation is not what is. It's always been about what can be. So be all you can be with the integrity, innovation, and inspiration of C High Performance. Shop online 24/7 at chighperformance.com. All righty. C High Performance, baby. And you know what? Tonight, it's also brought to you by Judges Performance, custom engineering service in Graham, Washington, 253-359-0635. The Ironman, Joe Stackman, owns Judges Performance. And big shout-out to Judges for all the cool stuff they're making. They make some neat stuff. He's been working with Hager and got a cool mount coming out. I saw. Did you see that yet, Lippy? The mount?
I haven't seen the mount.
It's a belt drive setup. Looks pretty trick.
Hager came out with their own belt drive setup.
But I think Hager was making they were turning some pulleys for Judges. It's a nice looking piece. Check it out on Facebook, or you can go to the American Muscle Cart Facebook page. Check it out. Mark Bergfeld giving a shout out to Judges Performance for being a long-lasting advertiser. So I thought I'd give him a shout out here on the show. And happy birthday again to Mike Burris, Christopher Rowling, Scott Dory, Caleb Hart, Pete Hawkins, Caleb Johnson, Chuck Robinson, Daniel Watkins, Braden Taylor, and Dave Warden. Happy birthday, everybody.
Well, Matt's going to be busy. He's down in Oregon right now watching racing.
Yeah, he is. Well, Strebe is.
Yeah, he was in my old stomping grounds last night. They stayed out at the casino there at Grand Round.
Yes.
That's right where I grew up, in that area.
Wow. Well, Willamette Speedway was going on this past weekend. Hot. It was super hot. 96, was it 90? Did we get 100? I'm sure it was 100 down there.
We were 98 here.
So I'm sure they were at least 100 down there. Brandon Rutledge. Did you see him hunting around on Facebook for gear numbers for ORV?
Yes, I did.
He wins a 206 combined. I never heard of Brandon Rutledge. I don't know who he is. Do you? He beat Brent Meyer. Dylan Adcock was third. Alan McLeod was fourth. Mike Vickers fifth. And Michael Reed in the sixth spot. KT Light, there was only one, Brandon Day. Predator, Braden Biggerstaff wins that. That's all there was for Speedway carts at Willamette. Bummer.
That is a bummer.
SoCal Carters, Paris. Do you know what Paris Auto Speedway is? It's a dirt road course. How cool is that?
I would love that.
Yeah. Nice.
Right? I mean, how cool is that? So let's see here. In the open class, it was Michael Carodi winning it. Dylan Hoffman second. Brody Roa. You know Brody Roa? He's a sprint car guy. Big one. Carl Lewis, the sprinter. You know who Carl Lewis, the sprinter, is? Just kidding. I don't think it's him. And Dave Carty was fifth. Look at this. He's got a new nickname. It's not the real deal anymore. KT100 was won by Chris, the Red Baron Gibb.
The Red Baron?
The Red Baron, yeah.
He's very Baroness.
Yes, Baroness.
I see Mr. Passanetti is on this show.
Oh, big shout out. The Italian Assassin in the house. Yeah, baby. Lori Fuller in the house. Wonderful Lori Fuller.
Making the rounds.
Chris.
Hi, Glenn.
I know. I was trying to
I know. Look at you.
It wasn't working, so I gave up.
So Chris Gibb wins KT. Donnie Crawford second. Thomas Southern. Those Southern boys are fast.
Yes, they are.
There's Chris, there's Tom, and there's one other one. Gary Southern. They're fast. They run up front everywhere. Senior four cycle. Went to Jeff Butler. Matt Martis and Cindy Nye. That's sci-fi Cindy Nye, the science guy. Or science gal.
There you go.
Guys just sounded better, but anyway. F200 went to Norm Reynolds and Justin Garcia.
Nice.
I think I got Jeff hooked on that too now. Juniors, Brendan Head, Caleb Pollard, Shane Holt, Caden Kane. Is that in relation to Casey Kane? Or you think they were trying to copy Caden Kane, Casey Kane? Never mind. It's spelled Kane. Will Brown, Drake Carty, and Kalana Franklin, who did not start. Big shout out to Strepfest Promotions and Scott DeLazio for the cool write-up and the results. Their next event is going to be Wheel to Wheel Speedway, July 15th. August 5th will be the Grand Arena at Industry Hills. Doesn't that have that TV name, right? Where are you going racing? The Grand Arena at Industry Hills. I don't know. It's just got that kind of classy.
It has a ring to it.
Yeah, it does kind of. And then back at Paris Auto Speedway August 12th for the dirt road course. What do you got? I got a couple more, but we'll just break up the monotony.
Well, actually, it was pretty lean. Deming was closed because of Dirt Cup. Grays Harbor was closed because of Dirt Cup, and South Sound had monster trucks. So
who won the monster trucks?
I don't know.
He says, I don't know.
Not a monster truck fan.
Yeah.
Anyway, how about let's do Dirt Cup.
Yeah, let's do it.
Thursday night, the 360s. Aaron Ritzel, Seth Bergman, Trey Starks, Jason Sowell, and Roger Crockett.
Boy, Crockett.
He's had a good roll going here.
Starks, too.
Yep. Well, Starks
is a big gun anyway, though.
Yeah,
isn't he?
I think he headed back to Pennsylvania for this weekend. He's got a ride back there. He goes back and runs it.
Wow.
With the Pennsylvania posse.
Trey Starks, what a stud.
The midgets. Tristan Thomas, Chance Crum, Nick Evans, Shane Biles.
Biles is fourth?
Nice.
And Nick Larson.
Wow.
Now, I don't know if she's listening or not, but I'm trying to figure out what actually Renee broke because they shows her sitting on the track with no left front wheel.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was kind of like, what?
Yeah, well, they said that she used these magnesium. If you listen to the show last week, she used these like magnesium stud things and
is that okay?
And or looms or some weird stud you weren't supposed to use, and they tell you right on there if you use these studs, it's going to break. And she says so. It did. So
okay,
true to form, right? I guess.
Now we know.
Friday night with the 360s, Sam Hefferteet. That's how I think. Hefferteet Jr. Roger Crockett.
Roger Crockett second?
Yep.
Wow.
Blake Hahn, Aaron Ritzel, and Jason Sowell.
This Jason Sowell, he must be pretty good.
He's a good shoe. He is an excellent shoe. The midgets. Tristan Thomas.
Wow.
So he had him a doubleheader up there.
They found a little something, I think.
Nick Larson.
Tough.
Nick Evans.
The champ. Wasn't he the champ last year?
Kevin Olson. And one time was fifth.
Yeah. One time. That a baby.
He's been in the top 5.
You know what? I saw him at Salem, and I'm going to tell you. I mean, you think I don't think much about it because you race go-karts, so you say, he's probably. But man, he got in there. He's impressive.
Yeah, he's doing good.
Yeah,
I mean, he's been top 3 in that area.
Yeah, he's a hell of a shoe.
And then Saturday night, which is the final night, it's a $15,000 to win. Sam Hefferteet Jr. This is the second year in a row he's won the main race.
Ooh, wow.
So Aaron Ritzel, Roger Crockett, Jason Sowell, and Blake Hahn.
You're kidding. Man, Crockett and Sowell they've been tearing it up.
Yeah, they're two good racers, and Roger's actually driving for Henderson down in California, I think, is where Henderson's from.
Nice.
He's not even running his own stuff. So.
Nice.
And he won up here at Grays Harbor 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Sheesh.
So,
guy's on fire.
Roger gets that way. If he gets on a roll, hang on. Modifieds was Kevin Smith and Lawrence O'Connor. I didn't catch who the rest of them was, but they're closed this week. And then Grays Harbor is going to have the Fred Brownfield Classic Friday and Saturday, which is the SCS cars. A lot of them that was at Skagit will be at Elma.
Oh, Shane Smith. That was Deming the week before. Titanium studs on 3 spoke hubs. We use them too. Oh, okay. Got to save weight for more hot dogs, says Cody Welker. What's up, Cody Welker? In the house. That boy can roll, too. Just ask Lippy.
Gets it done.
Cody Welker, heck yeah. Hey, and Sean Herbert, I got to give a big shout out to him. He sent me a cool text today. Did you know? Little NWR history. He knows more than we do on history, but we were at Joe's doing our Joe's from Joe's show this time last year. So big shout out to Sean Herbert and Sean in the Dirt podcast for that little tip. Yeah, that was cool.
Sean said that Starks went through 3 front axles on Friday night, so that might have something to do with it.
Yeah, McCorkle checking in. Right on.
And then we got
Shane Smith says, from blank 14-car inverts, blank BS.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's too much.
Definitely a lot of ground to cover.
Yep.
Dirt Cup, done?
Dirt Cup, done.
NorCal UAS Cycle Land. Get this. Guess who fast time was?
Fast Eddie.
Sam Cervantes.
Oh, nice. Good for him.
He went 11.793. Diotti went 11.929. Berg went a 12.142. Fernandez went a 12.383. Chris Southern a 12.469. And Trevor McAllister a 12.487. That's pretty good qual. That's pretty close qualifying.
Yeah.
Main event. Bad Brad Berg. Yep. Ryan Fernandez. Ryan Diotti. 3rd, Cervantes 4th, Chris Southern 5th, Trevor McAllister 6th. Big NorCal UAS Cycle Land win for Bad Brad Berg. Just when you think, boy, is he done, he comes back and goes boom, boom. There he is.
Never count anybody out.
The dirt track at Meridian Speedway last Wednesday night. How dare they put a race on at the same time we are, I just don't they check with other promoters? I'm just kidding. Junior Speedway. Brady Ransom and Cale Cully. Cale Cully set the track record with a 10.312.
Now, I would take it that it's Joe Ransom's kid
yes.
and Josh Cully's kid.
I'm hoping.
Same
last name, yeah. Senior 4, Dale Schmitzker. Brady Blinkhorn, who was also your quick qualifier and track record holder with a 9.987. And Justin Yuen, Y-U-E-N, Justin Yen. Idaho, UAS. Travis Anderson sets the track record with a 9.396. But your winner, the Titan, Tim Lawrence.
Oh, yeah. He's been a standout lately.
Craig Anderson, Josh Cully, and Travis Anderson, your top 4. Black Canyon, long-awaited opening. Gates open at 12. Pit meeting at 4. $12 pit pass coming up this weekend. Black Canyon's the one a little bit over east. That's going to be cool. Hopefully that's going to be good stuff. 7 o'clock, we got Chris Ager. He's our Blue Line Graphics in the seat guest. Those of you just tuning in late. We're going to be talking a little bit about Pat's Acres, what's going on. 2017 U.S. Open Grand Nationals for Rotax. Luke Selikin takes it. He takes the Senior Max, and he gets an automatic ticket to Portugal for the Grand Finals. Jacob Gulick, another player from Portland, Gulick Trucking. He was 9th. Josh Pearson. Those of you know Aaron Nelliton. He took Mini-Max, so he got a pass. So Nelliton and Josh Pearson going to be heading over to Portugal to run Mini-Max over there. And Graham Trammell, he just got started. His first Grand National, he finished 22nd in the micros. So that's not too shabby.
Nice.
Gold Cup, West Coast Kart Club, Chilliwack, BC. Junior 1, Cam Blakesley, Riley Miller, Kellen, is it Schwisk? Junior 2, Kaysen Lau. Good to see Kaysen Lau get the win. Ellie Musgrave and Arjon Mann. Senior 206, Vitaly Tikachev. Andrew Carezzi, Blair Carezzi. World Formula Heavy, Brian Green, Sean Keys. Tag Cadet, Kieran Hartley, Brandon Lee. Rotax Micro goes to Antonio Constantino. Tell me that's not a bad boy name. Ryland Eagles and Ryan Castles. Rotax Mini goes to Kristen Dinkov, Jonathan Yedow, and Kyle Castles. Rotax Senior goes to Kellen Ritter, TJ Madonna second, Jason Houghton third, Rotax Jr., Kyle Francis, Alex Yedaw, and Maxwell Ink Pen. That is his name, Maxwell Ink Pen. Pencil him in. And what do you need?
We'll tell Renee we'll give her the free pass.
I'm like 5 laps down, so I'm late, LOL. Oh, that's okay. Lori Fuller says, that makes me feel better.
Swires, look at Ronnie's.
Saw Luke at Pat's today. Sounds like that race was a total last-minute deal, and he wins it. Great job. Hey, I'm just going to say, Mike Rollison is pretty lucky to have Luke Selican. Although I know Rollison has helped Luke Selican, Luke was going to go regardless of who helped him. I'm just here to say. Nothing against Mike Rollison, for sure. But I'm just telling you, it didn't matter who got a hold of Luke Selican. He was going to go somewhere. And he's no different than a late model. The dude's a stud. It's just a shame about everything that went down. Chilliwack Gold Cup Tag Masters continued from up there at Chilliwack. Frank Burleton, Gary Rail, Rob Jukes, Tag Junior 2, Carson Blakesley, Katie Musgrave, Tag Junior 3, Ellie Musgrave. Here you go, Jeff. Samuel Barrera Garcia, and Kason Lau. Andrew Carezzi, Justin Gertz, Andrew Byrne, Pat's Acres 206. This was on the 23rd, their Friday night show. Junior 1 206 went to Parker Selner, Corey Rao, Ethan Kodiga, Senior 206, Junior 2 206, Dakota Grinlin, Casey Lagoni, and Cam Ager. Oh, that was Senior 206. Cam's far from a junior. Junior 206 went to Caleb Schrader, Bryson Smith, Thomas Olson. PGP Father's Day race up at PGP 206. Kevin Janders, AJ Fugit, Jeremy Bolstad, Jeff Janders, and Ken Porter.
Go AJ.
D. Wang's got a ticket, too.
Oh, D. Wang got a ticket. Doesn't surprise me. He's probably, what was that, DD2, I'm sure. But maybe. Usually it's DD2 is what he runs, but. Northwest Kart Dates, 206 East. I think I missed this last week, so I want to get this in. Senior 206, they had a good turnout. Kellen Dean, Mackenzie Walsh, Bryce Peterson. That's a stud right there. Junior 1 206, Trey Arnzen, Harrison Budzik, Tegan Fletcher, and Mason Smark. Junior 2 206, Zach Fransky. Wow. He puts it to Daytona Arnzen and Cody Nagel. Verlene Richardson takes the Powder Puff 206. I think we're missing out on that. Don't you? In the dirt. I think there should be some sort of Powder Puff 206 or something. 206 Predator, something. That would be cool. Verlene Richardson, Crystal Burdo, and Karen Nagel. Masters 206, Bryce Peterson, Eric Hubley, and Ryan Burdo. Kid Kart, Aiden Hansen, Jocelyn Strait, and Cannon DeLong. Rotax Sr., Seth Apple, Michael Groff, Kalen Richmond, Jerry Pitts, and Derek Biddle. Biddle getting the top 5.
Wow.
In Rotax Senior. Look at him go. PRD, Chris Worley, Richard Worley, Matt Logis, Ricky Worley, and John McNeil. Excuse me. Well, we still got a few minutes here. Big shout out Brandon Oldham, because we're talking UAS around the US of A. He won the Red Clay Bull Ring, Keystone UAS. Kyle Pease, Dan Burkett, Denny Furlow, and Harry McElhaney rounded out the rest of that. The Chautauqua Machine Specialties UAS race. Ron Wolf won Wheelersburg, and June 2nd was the biennial rule review for the UAS, so I'm sure people have gotten those things in the mail already. Hopefully they voted. I haven't heard anything, rumors, have you? I haven't heard any gripes or any real upsetting things, so this review should be somewhat smooth, I'm gathering, after looking what happened last year.
Hopefully, yeah. Big shout out to Ron Wolf, though. That's great for him. He's a solid fixture there in the UAS.
Yeah. That is. I'm just glad there's not huge rule things. I mean, Ronnie just chimed in, said there was 13 UAS scheduled to be there this weekend.
I heard the same thing, and I've heard several Yamahas that are making the trip too. So it should be
this would be off the chain.
Yeah, it's a good one you decided to show up at because it'll be plenty of people there.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
So yeah, it will be.
I'm just glad you still want me.
Absolutely. Are you kidding?
Hey, Sean Holbert's got a shout out here for Bill Burt. He's the one of the safety guys up there at Skagit, and they call him, he goes AK Crazy Quad Safety Guy. He dumped it when he was headed for a crash, and now he fractured T9.
Vertebrae?
Yeah.
Oh, ouch.
Dang.
Well, Bill Burt, get well soon.
Yes. Yeah,
Get well soon. Edgar said he was going to be trenching. So I said we'd stall for a little bit. There it is. And there he is. Let me see if I can answer it. There it is. Hang tight. Our Blue Line Graphics in the seat guest. Your favorite drivers and people of interest in the motorsports world. It's time for In the Seat, powered by Blue Line Graphics. All right, you can call him crazy. You can call him whatever you want. Just don't call him late for the races. His name is Chris Hager. He's the owner of Pat's Acres. What is going on, Chris Hager?
Not much, Terry. How about you?
Not much, my man. It's good to hear your voice.
Yeah, you too. You too. Just enjoying a beautiful day out here at the racetrack.
Well,
the sun goes down and people kind of start coming in. We actually get stuff done out here. So
really, so is
working
it
on some projects?
So are you one of the late night guys? I mean, you get more done in the evening than you do during the day.
Yeah, definitely for sure. I usually in the afternoons is when I head out either to the motocross track and jump on the dozer or skid steer and start playing in the dirt, or like right now I'm on a trencher out burying some cable and stuff, just trying to keep on top of stuff, man.
Burying some cable? What? Tell me you got some speaker wire run.
No, power.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Power.
Wouldn't have that run, no, for sure. Wait a minute. You say motocross track?
Yeah.
Where have I been?
So we about 3 years ago, probably 3 or 4 years ago, put in a motocross track.
Wait a minute. I haven't not been gone 3 or 4 years ago.
Yes, you have.
It has not been 4 years.
3.
Has it been that long? Has it been that long since you fired me?
I didn't fire you. Wow, they're going to shot across the path.
So you
maybe it was 2 years ago is when we kind of got serious with it.
So you mean
anyways, yeah, we just kind of made a big push this spring. We opened up a few weeks ago where the county will allow us to run on the weekends only. So we've got it's a full-on, pretty much motocross track. What we're doing, Terry, is we're trying to reach the guys, and we'll take anybody that wants to come ride, but we're really reaching out to the guys probably 30 to 50, 55 years old that have bikes. Sitting in the garages, there's nowhere to ride them without making a trip to the coast or packing up and, driving 2-3 hours to get to a place. And so we created, it's a facility, it's track that's about a mile long. I think it's a little over a mile long, and there's some jumps and whoops and tables and we're just gearing it as a practice facility or a place to just come ride, more so for recreational guys.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a firm believer in there's a lot more recreational guys out there than there are hardcore racers. And, the hardcore guys, they'll go down and practice, they'll go down out to PIR and Thursday night motocross. They'll go down to Albany. They'll go down out to Hoodview.
Mm-hmm.
Hoodview. I don't think that's right. Anyways.
Hood River, you mean? Hood River or
No, there's another track. There's another track up in Sandy.
Okay.
And
it's okay.
Mountain View.
Mountain View. Okay.
Yep. It's called Mountain View. but those are really geared towards the hardcore racer guys that want track time to practice.
Right.
And this is way more set up, family environment. You can bring your wife, your girlfriend, your kids out, teach them how to ride. We've got a little mini track where you can stand in the middle and kids can go over some little whoops and bumps and fall down, and you can watch them and see everything that's going on and be pretty close to them. And then the big track is, like I said, it's about a little over a mile long, and it's just a cool place to ride. It wraps around in the trees. We've got some sandy corners. We've got, the dirt is really, really, really good. We can control the moisture now, so we can keep the dust down. And we usually groom it going into most weekends, and it's open to anybody that wants to come out, usually on Saturdays and Sundays.
Man, that's awesome. I mean, that's so really you can come out there and bring your bike and not have to worry about a whole bunch of hot dogs being out there, and
right,
just riding the wheels off of it and showing you up and everything. You can just come out here and putt around and mess around and have a good time.
Yeah, yep, that's exactly right. At this point in time, I don't plan on putting on any events as far as race,
right, official
races go.
Right.
We're focused on, a really laid back, groomed, well taken care of, just recreational place to come ride your bike. We kind of thought we can create a place for the guy that's 35, 40 years old to get up on a Saturday morning, throw his bike in the back of his truck and come on down. We usually open up at 8. He can be on the track by 8:15, 8:30, ride for a couple hours and get back home before noon. About the time Mama's getting out of bed, he can still get home and get the car washed and get the lawn mowed and take his wife to dinner and still have a Saturday and not have to dedicate a whole day to going and riding. Because the reality of it is, if you go ride for more than a couple hours, you're going to be worn out unless you're in Terry Bridges shape.
That's right, baby. And then you can go, and then you can go all night. No, I'm just kidding.
That's right.
So let me ask you then. So since you're turning over, I know this is a bad 4-letter word, but since you're turning over dirt, is maybe there a possible speedway track gonna be?
Is it what?
Gonna be a possible speedway track maybe going in there anytime soon?
The county will not allow us to do it. We've got the clearance to run the bikes. We've had clearance to run the bikes from clear back in the old Supermoto days. If we date back to the 03, 04, 05, 06 period time frame, we used to put some 40 bike fields on the, with the 450 Supermoto class. There were times we'd stack 40, 45 guys on the track. We have a very, very strong Supermoto following, and we just have always kept it in play, and now we've separated the track. And but the area where the speedway track would be, Terry, gets used for a lot of different things. This last week we had a car show out here that was in conjunction with our drift event. We've got Hairfest, big for all you rockers from back in the 80s and 90s. It's a tribute band, 18 bands, 2 days, rock and roll festival out here going on July 14th and 15th. And that area that the old speedway track used to be in is getting used for quite a few things. And so as much as I would like to put a dirt track back in, I don't have the clearance from the county, and we actually have made pretty solid use out of the space.
So what you're saying is no.
What I'm saying is probably not in the near future.
Gotcha. Fair enough.
But it was a great opportunity for a shameless plug for Hairfest, so
yeah,
I took it.
Absolutely, as I knew you would. No, really, we love each other, everybody. You just gotta know our relationship. It's all good.
It goes back a long way.
It sure does go back a long way, and I'm pretty grateful to you too for everything, because you helped get me on the map.
Got a question here. There's a guy, Wayne Thompson, wants to know if you're running quads on it or just bikes.
You running quads or just bikes?
It's just bikes.
Just bikes.
We've been told by the bike community that if we allow the side-by-sides and the quads on there, that it rips the faces of the jumps up and stuff. And theoretically, technically, we're not cleared by the county to run bikes. I mean, to run
quads.
To run quads and side-by-sides. And so, we're doing our best to stay within the guidelines the county's allowed us to operate, which at this point is bikes only.
Okay.
That works. Well, I know Jeff has a lot because we've talked about it, and whether you love it, because there's some that do, and there's some that don't, but you've got to face the fact that this drift thing is the new craze. I mean, it's huge, and so tell us a little bit about. I mean, what have you seen, and what has it done for you, and where do you see it going, and what's going on with it?
Well, Terry, it's been a crazy ride. It started for us out here at the very end of 2009. We had a couple of guys come out. We had a couple of kids that kept bugging me and telling me we want to drift. And at that time, I didn't know what drifting was. And I kept telling them, no, we don't, the track's not big enough. It's not going to work. It wasn't anything that I thought was a viable deal. And finally I let them come out. And, these kids went out on the track and they started sliding around. I went back in my office and was working and figured they'd come in and tell me how right I was about the fact that, it's not going to work. And these guys came in and their eyes were wide open, Terry, and they were just giggling and laughing, and they were like, dude, it's awesome. This is perfect. And I thought, well, no, it isn't. You guys don't know what you're talking about. So anyways, they took a chance. In the beginning, a couple guys organized a couple things, and, the track was very busy on the weekends, and so we kind of delegated it to like a Friday evening, and it drew a few people in, and it just was one of those things that it was a very small subculture at that time. I didn't know anything about it. I had no idea what the potential was. And so these kids, these four guys in particular, were very persistent, because actually another guy stepped up and rented the facility to put on a couple of events. And then this gentleman just disappeared off the face of the earth. So then the four kids came back to me and said, hey, we want to do this. So I knew they were going to struggle with getting the insurance. So we insured the event. We took it on. Anyways, we started back then. This would have been early 2010. And, it would draw 25, 30 drivers. And we'd get 60, 80, maybe 100 people that would come watch, which is more than you can get to come watch a go-kart race. And it has slowly evolved over the last 8 years. I think this is our 8th season of running. We have events out here where we'll draw 120 plus drivers, and we've had events out here. Memorial Day weekend, we had close to 2,000 spectators.
Are you kidding me?
We do 2 or 3 events a year that draw those kinds of numbers. Our typical park drift dates, I mentioned we had a car show this last Sunday. I think we only had about 70 drivers show up, drift guys show up. Without the heat, we would have been closer to 120 based on, previous years and the trends and what we've been doing.
Right.
And I think we were poised to be at 12 to 1,500 spectators. Now, we were probably closer to 700-800, again, because of the heat. But this drifting thing, Terry, has absolutely blown up. We get upwards of 300 different drivers a year that we license through a short program out here, and then they can come out and drive. We've got a spectator program, a ride-along program where with your general admission, you can go talk to the drivers, and most of them are very easy to convince you to jump in the passenger seat and go for a ride with them.
Which I did. That first time was a little hairy. He says, This is third gear car. I said, dude, this is not third gear. This is not a third gear corner. He says, yeah, it is. It says it is. I said, well, it's not. And off the bank we went.
You screamed like a little girl.
Like a little girl. But I'll tell you what.
I'll tell
you what. When I was in that one cat's Toyota and we were completely sideways and I was looking straight down the racetrack out the driver's door, I was giggling like a little kid. It was just stupidly cool.
What?
Well, we get these guys. They run these tandem runs. Sometimes they'll do it in pairs. Other times they'll go 8, 10, 6, 9. Doesn't matter. These guys will take off and they will run 2, 3, 4 feet off of each other's door panels in a full lock, sliding all the way around this racetrack. And it's, to a racer, you look at it and you go, wow, it's just a lot of really poor cornering skills and a lot of overdriving the track. Until you get in and ride with these guys, Terry, that's the point in time when you go, whoa, these guys, A, are ridiculously talented and have phenomenal car control. And it is a skill and a talent as much as, grip driving, or so they call it, driving a race car around the track, trying to go as fast as you can. It's
no doubt about
it.
They're
the same guys. They're the same guys. It's my dad came out a couple of events ago, brought a couple of his buddies. These guys are in their 70s, and they're standing here watching these guys, blow through 4 or 5 sets of tires in a day. They're listening to these guys run these cars up on the rev limiter. Some of these kids that are coming out here are putting 700-800 horsepower to the ground. Some of them are doing it with 250 horsepower to the ground. But my dad and his buddies were talking, and they're like, we just don't get it. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen. Doesn't make any sense. Why are they doing, And I stopped him and I said, look, when you guys were 16, 18, 20, Friday nights, Saturday nights, you guys rounded up the boys and rounded up the gals, and you found some back roads where the police weren't going to get there for a couple of hours. And, you guys paced off a quarter mile. You painted some stripes on the road, and you put some little gal in a skirt to stand in between you and drop her arms, and you took off. Drag racing was what you guys did 50 years ago, 60 years ago. And this has become today's drag racers of years past.
I think you're right.
They spend every nickel they can get their hands on their cars. They're up till 3 o'clock in the morning the night before prepping stuff, even though they've known the date, and when the event's going to happen a year, the schedule's put out a year ahead of time. We do our events once a month. They're racers, they're just not trying to go fast. They're trying to go sideways. And it has been an unbelievably good group of guys and girls now to work with. They leave the facility very clean most of the time. They're super respectful of the property, Terry. We at the drivers meeting, we have a little drivers meeting in the mornings, and we give them a little spiel, and I tell them, behind me, gentlemen, is the fence, and on the other side of the fence is for stupid. I don't want to see any stupid on this side of the fence, because there's spectators, there's people, and we tell the guys, if you see somebody being stupid on this side of the fence, please go take care of it for me. I don't want to have to deal with them. And I'll tell you what, the first time a guy does a burnout in the gravel in the driveway in the staging area or does something stupid in his pits, 15 guys are on him like an ape on ugly. They just attack a guy. And it's a group that for some reason a lot of people have wanted to stay away from and not involve. And for us, it's been a wonderful experience, an awesome experience working with these kids. Now we're starting to see some parents' involvement. We're getting guys that are, mom and dad are coming out with them, and they're renting the track and doing some private test sessions, and they're taking schools, and they're learning, and they're, we've got a drip girls program here at Pat's. It's kind of a goal of mine. I would love for there to be 4 or 5 gals that, PARC is their home base, that can cruise around the Northwest and go do different events, and everybody goes, whoa, here comes those girls that can flat drive. These girls are from Pat Baker's. And so we have a program that we do some free training days with the girls, and we've got 3 or 4 gals, and I'm telling you what, Terry, they would make you and me look pretty stupid behind the steering wheel.
Well, I know I'm sure they'd make me look stupid. Now, you might be a different story, but
so it's been a really fun group to get to know. It's these drift events have become the biggest single and 2-day events that we do. It's the rental karts is still our bread and butter, and our heart is still in the kart racing. But this drifting thing has really taken off, and it's financially, it's put us in a place where we can do some different stuff and do some upgrades, and it's become a very, very key part of what we do out here at PARC.
Well, and I think the biggest thing you did, Chris, was you took a chance on them, because that like I do. There's people all over the place. You get a bunch of kids together, and all you got's problems, right? I mean, there's drinking, there's carrying on. You know the spiel. But for you to say, hey, all right, I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'll even cover your insurance. Let's make it happen, man. I mean, it's no wonder. Those days you told me. There were days I think you said that the Canby police had to show up out in front of the gate just to direct traffic. There were so many people.
Yeah, it's not uncommon on a drift morning. If we post that the gates are going to open at 9 for the drivers, at a lot of times 8 o'clock, we've got drivers, the driveway's stacked up too wide, and the cars and trailers are spilling out onto the road. Guys can't wait to get to the racetrack and get set up. And as much as we try to tell them, 9 o'clock is when the gate opens, guys, show up at 9. They spill out onto the road. Yeah, we get our visits from the local Canby boys fairly regularly, trying to help us direct traffic, trying to get folks in and out of here. So
that's crazy. So what about how many? I'm just curious. How many armored cars then do you have to take to the bank on Monday? Was it 1 or 2?
Terry, you know how we operate, man. We try to put as much back into this place.
I know that
as we can. This thing has been a labor of love. Our family has been out here. This is actually our 20th season.
Wow.
When I say that out loud, it makes my head spin, because it just seems like, a few years ago, I came home on a Thursday night and had to tell my 4-year-old and my 6-year-old, go tell your mom we just bought a racetrack. And when I look back,
you bought what? Right?
Exactly. My 4-year-old and 6-year-old at the time, which are now almost 25 and 23, they took off squealing like little kids, and went running into the other room. And I kind of got that my wife, when she figured out what they were screaming about, kind of looked around the corner and said, "You did what?" And
don't
so
yeah, just sit there. I'll talk to you in just a minute.
But it was back then. It was a move to keep the track in play for the racers, and I was into the game. I was, I'm not going to say I was super serious about it, but I was very passionate about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd been racing for a couple of years, and there were some club politics that were going on with the club that had been renting the facility, and they got into a lawsuit with the farmer that owned it. And usually tenant/landlord lawsuits don't lead to a great relationship. And my whole motivation was to keep the track alive for the racers, because the farmer was going to turn it back into a cow pasture. He had spoken with quite a few people from the club, or a lot of people from the club that tried to speak to him, and he just wanted nothing to do with them.
And that was Shipwright at the time, correct?
Yes, yeah. Yep, Ken's still around, still lives across the street. Probably in his mid to upper 80s and going like a freight train still.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that was 20 years ago. I look back, there was no rental car program. There was no, I get a lot of people, Terry, that come in and say, wow, I was here back in the 80s, or I raced in the 90s, and they come in and they go, wow, this place doesn't even look the same. The track, most of the track is still the same, but it's unbelievable how it's transformed. And so it's been a long journey. We've enjoyed it. It's been, a labor of love, and but there's been a lot of long days.
Oh,
a lot of long days by my family and the kids that work for us. We've got a tremendous staff out here and very dedicated group of people that help us do what we do out here, and it's been an absolute blast for sure.
Man, that's so cool. That's so cool to hear. So, and I'm just going to tell you guys, those of you that you may be dirt racers at heart or whatever, but you owe it to yourself to go to Pat's Acres and just go out there and take a few laps there. I mean, you will not be disappointed. There's just something magical about the place. I mean, Chris, do you know? I don't know. I don't know what it is. It must be the setting, but there's just something magical when you get there. That's just, I don't know. It's just hard to say. It's just a very positive, cool place to be.
Well, I appreciate that. We work very hard to try to keep the drama and keep all the negativity away. But we can. And
wait a minute. You mean negativity in karting? Are you kidding?
No, negativity in racing.
Okay. I thought you meant, for some reason, I thought you meant karting by some crazy reason. We both know. Yeah, there's nothing. That's right.
We're very lucky. We get usually we get a deal with people when they're having fun and they're enjoying what they do, and it's been a lot of fun. We've made a lot of friends. It's the people that we've got to know, and anybody that's listening right now obviously has probably been out here quite a bit, and hats off to you guys for supporting us and allowing us to keep the gates open, man. It is no easy deal in this day and age to run a racing facility and keep it profitable and keep it making money so that we can keep putting money back into the place and trying to upgrade and move things forward. So we've had tremendous support for sure.
Well, Lippy's got a question for you, but before he asks it, I just want to warn you, there's a guy that's going to be coming out there. He may have already been out there, but you really need to watch out for him. He's trouble. His name is Ronnie Swires. And you just got to be careful of this guy. This guy, man, he will cause you grief.
Ronnie and I used to bang gears at about 82 miles an hour down the straightaway out here.
So then you already know what a dirtbag he is then. Okay, that's all I wanted to say.
Say that. I love racing with Ronnie. Ronnie, it was all business on the racetrack.
I get it.
And he was a competitor, and it was awesome to go wheel to wheel and bang with him and stuff. And then as soon as it was over, win, lose, or draw either side, it was we were back to buddies again. And that's the kind of stuff I was talking about earlier, that it's the people.
It is.
And racers that you get some guys that you can't do that with. It's all business, and then when the races are over, they don't want to talk. But Ronnie was one of the good ones and one of the fun guys to race against.
Oh, geez, you've never seen him at the dirt track. He is not that way at the dirt track, I'm telling you.
Well, Ronnie's one of the very fortunate guys that I'm pretty sure still makes a living with his helmet on.
Isn't that cool? I know.
That's kind of the goal for a lot of people that we see, and not a lot of guys. I got to think Ronnie's close to my age. He's got to be in his mid-40s, and he's still playing race car driver. So.
Are you still lying? Mid-40s. Egger's been lying. You know what I mean? I still don't know his true age because I think he's always lying to me. Mid-40s. Are you serious?
Ronnie on the line?
No, he's on the show, though. He says, it was a great day at Pat's Acres today. Weather was perfect. Only if that slime bag Egger would have had the track in better condition. See what I mean? He's always starting something. No, I'm kidding. He didn't say that.
Well, Ronnie, so to be truthful, Ronnie was out here today. Him and his cohort, Kyle, they were out here today running their shifters, and we had a corporate event. The good folks at Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
Oh, cool.
You talk about guys that flash equipment, which I suppose that's turnabout fair play, because I know when we rent equipment from Enterprise, it's not like we don't drive the wheels off it. But so yeah, poor Ronnie got ran out of here by a corporate event this afternoon.
Oh, that's what he was bitching about. I knew there was something. He was pretty ticked off.
Just tell Ronnie that it takes those corporate events to keep the gates open.
Oh, he knows that. No, I'm 100% kidding, man. He's one of the sweetheart guys of the sport, no doubt about it. But
yeah, good guy.
Well, Chris, man, go get back on your tractor. I kept you long enough, man. I just want to say thanks. You know, I know we go way back and whatever, but like I said, I'm sitting here today in some part, a big part of because of you. You know, you believed in me when maybe others didn't, and always stood behind me and had my back, and I never will forget that.
Well, it's been a fun ride, Terry. I appreciate you letting me come on and shamelessly plug all the programs that we do out here.
Yeah, yeah.
I probably should send you a check or something.
No, man. You know what? You've done so much for me, dude. It's just not even funny. We'll work something out later, right? I'm just kidding.
All right.
But
sounds like a plan. When you get hard up for a guest again, and you need somebody, to come on and fill time, give me a call, bro.
Okay, man. Hey, thanks for a lot, Chris. We'll talk to you soon, bud.
Absolutely.
Okay,
all right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, Chris Egger, everybody. What do you think of him? He's a good dude. He's a really good dude.
It's all about racing.
There's some, yeah, there'll be some, like anybody. They'll say, but you know what? Chris Egger will give you the shirt off his back, and I know he did me, so I appreciate that.
One of the things about it is he's using his facility to its advantage.
Yep.
I mean, you have the motocross, you're doing the drift, you're doing it all year. It's
having corporate events.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that to keep your gates open.
Yeah, really, expanding your portfolio like that and allowing more and more of that stuff is really diversifying, and that's what a lot of the other places out there are having to do. You can't really rely on one thing like you used to be able to 30 years ago, when it probably got started with the sprint carts out there. But now you really do have to open your doors and open your eyes and try new things, and that's great. The motocross idea, is a great idea. I mean, shoot for that demographic, and that clientele is perfect. It probably does give a lot of people an outlet to ride their stuff that would have to drive 2 to 3 hours to find something similar to that. So
well, not only that, you're going to be more on a course that's set up for the hot dogs.
Yeah.
This here, it sounds like he's got it more geared towards the older people and that type of thing. So
sure, yeah.
That's what's cool about it. I just listening to him there, he answered all my questions on the drift deal. I mean, I guess the main thing is it pays the bills.
Well,
and that's
I'm the same ship you were in. I guess I'm that. I'm his dad. I'm the guy that was out running the back roads and waiting, to drag down the street. Whereas these kids are not. They're waiting to get into a warehouse parking lot and slide all over the place. And how do you diss that? I haven't been bitten yet, so I guess I'll just stay neutral on that whole issue.
Well, and we talked with the guy from Evergreen, and he was talking about how big it was there and
Cunningham,
and what it meant to their facility to do it. And it's the same. I see the same thing here with what he's talking about.
Well, and I think that's I think that's in this day and age, that's the smart promoter that's going to say, "Hey, I've got a facility that my main claim to fame may be oval racing, right? But shoot, if my facility's right and big enough and whatever, and I can handle this, why not bring it in for some of those that can do that? Big shout out to Mario Mendez in the house. Wayne Thompson. Wayno made it. I love it. He says, woohoo, I made it online. I love it. I love hearing that. Before we get going with Jeff's segment, we're going to talk a little NASCAR. We're gonna heat it up here a little bit. We're going to hear good folks from True Tech Automotive and Speed City. Don't go anywhere. Racing. It's preparation. It's focus. It's attention to detail. And when you try to take shortcuts, it shows. At Speed City, Southern Oregon's karting headquarters, distributor for Ultramax, Legend, QRC, Bell helmets, and K1 race gear, they don't roll like that. Speed City is committed to roll the way champions roll by keeping racers on track with knowledge, integrity, and performance. No shortcuts, no negativity, no other motives. You don't just have their word on it, you've got their name on it. So get back to having fun and get to calling Speed City. Speed City, LLC, keeping racers on track with quality service and friendship. 541-531-1222. The three most expensive things you'll do in your life are buy a house, educate your kids, and go racing. What you don't need is another expense, and that's why you take your car and tow rigs to True Tech Automotive to ensure that they are maintained and repaired the right way with the right parts at the right price. And how's this for right? Extended to all racers is the In the Family 25% discount off of all preventative maintenance and repair labor. All you have to do is use the discount code NWRR to save. Now that's right. Get it done the right way, the True Tech way. True Tech Automotive, 6900 Northeast Highway 99, Hazeldale, Washington. 360-571-2302. All right, we're back. Well, I've got to get my, as you know, I lost my hard drive in my other one. So it had a lot of our intro music in it. The famous loader one, I've got to get back somehow because that was actually pretty cool. It's one of those things you don't realize how good it is. Well, at least I thought it was good until it's gone. So we're going to do it this way.
Before I get to my segment, I didn't quite get all the results done, but I want to give a big shout out to Miss Becca Clark for finishing third.
What?
At Sunset in her 600.
Nice.
And I don't know what was going on with Mikey. I didn't see nothing about it, but Mikey didn't look like he had a very good day. He finished way down, so I don't know what happened there. I'd love to find out, but
hey, I didn't tell you either. Central Welding 125 super late models at Evergreen last weekend. Donnie won it. Jeff Knight, Tom Barrow, Shane Harding, Andy Soul. West Coast late models were also there. Randy Marshall Jr., Andy Soul, Rich Peters, Carson Thomas, and Andy Beeman. Roger Drake won the Street Shocks. Pete Brady wins the Pro 4 Trucks. Peter Brady.
The Brady boats.
And Dawson Cox takes the Hornets. No Cody Hoops. I don't know where he was. Obviously, that's why Dawson Cox won, because Cody Hoops wasn't there. Nobody can beat Cody Hoops. No, I'm just kidding. Congratulations, Dawson Cox. You're on.
NASCAR. I don't know. I call it the smoke and mirrors show.
NASCAR.
NASCAR, yeah. It's a smoke and mirrors. You know what we talk about, and if you follow any of these guys on Twitter, they're talking about how great everything's going and what's all going on and stuff. And I ran across this little article, and it was called "Where Have All the Seats Gone?" And I thought for a minute here, well, they're saying they're selling out. Wrong. You got two companies that own 31 of the 36 tracks that NASCAR races on. And when everything was still going to International Speedway Corporation, they were just adding, and they were just, more seats, more tickets, more, let's go. Well, 07, what happened?
The crash.
Everything fell apart. These are some interesting figures, and a couple of these really kind of blew me away. But they own Atlanta. Atlanta had 101,000 seats that they could put people in. The capacity now is 68,000. We took out 33,000 seats.
Wow.
Who picks out 33,000? Why wasn't it 30,000 or 40,000?
Oh, Charlotte took out 76,000.
Well, okay, and you know what? And I'm all 100% about what you're saying as far as smoke and mirrors, right? It's like, okay, so we're used to seeing big, full, packed houses, right? That's how it was back when it was growing in the 90s.
Well,
and
they don't
and
want to see
early
they don't want to see empty seats because it's bad for television.
People pointed out.
So
it's bad for them.
Exactly, and so isn't it smart business to go ahead and take those seats out if you're not filling them?
Yes and no. I've thought about that.
No.
Why? Okay. Why do you say no, or why do you say yes?
I, by taking them out, then you have a full house. You always have a full house for your television. But what happens if things start picking back up again and you can sell that other 30,000 seats? What's that make it look like? The problem is now with NASCAR, and this is something that I heard on the show the other night on the NASCAR one, and this was a guy called in and Moody just went ballistic. But this guy made the average person does not understand NASCAR anymore. NASCAR used to be the good old boys. You jumped in your car, you went out, you ran 500 laps or 500 miles. You came in, and that was the winner. Great, and everybody understood it. Well, now we have the chase.
And if it's not the chase, it's three different segments.
And now we've gone to the segments, and we've gone to this, and we've gone to that. They have just literally tricked themselves out of.
You're not going to get any argument from me. I don't. Lippy, you probably don't follow NASCAR a ton, do you? Or
At all.
See, so, but I think where you can join in is you're from maybe the outside looking, and it really doesn't matter whether it's oval racing or, I mean, this could be in NHRA for all initial purposes, right?
Well, all you had to do was like it last weekend.
Amen.
The seats that was half empty.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, but they're not taking any seats out. They're saying
no.
We're just hoping this is a low pass. Okay, Lippy. Let me ask you, in your honest professional opinion, is it the show that determines where these people go? If the show was different, do you think they wouldn't need to remove these seats, or do you think those seats would be full?
Well, I think Jeff's right. I think it is smoke and mirrors. I think it's a Band-Aid to keep themselves looking well rather than dealing with the problem. And that's, the whole part of it. And drag racing has suffered from this as well. They went to a shorter track to slow the speeds down to try and make things a little safer. But that, by now they're already up to the same speeds they were in a quarter of a mile. Restrictor plates is the same thing. It killed the sport as far as, you don't see nearly as much passing anymore because it doesn't matter if you mash the loud pedal or not. You're not going to go anywhere for a while. And I think that was the big thing. There was other ways to regulate it. For instance, I think that Top Fuel should have went to a fuel pump regulation rather than shutting down the length of the track. If you monitor the amount of fuel that goes in with it, they can only go so fast because you can only do so much with so much. And the same thing with the NASCAR. Instead of doing the restrictor plates, they should have looked at it a different way to try and handle it rather than restrictor plates because it's just it's boring the way it is.
But are you still okay? But you have the restrictor plate. But are you trading one restrictor plate for another restrictor plate? I mean, really, what you're going to regulate the fuel? Isn't that what the plate's doing? I mean, it's just a different way of regulating it, but it's still regulating it.
It is a different way, but you still have throttle response. So that's my whole thing with the NASCAR deal, and I don't follow it a lot. So
no, but that makes sense. It's the same in the go-karts, right? Back east when they run the big all the clone stuff. They got restrictor plates on it. Maybe there's a different fuel pump. Maybe a guy could look at it that way. I've never thought of it. Still got throttle response.
Well, that's their biggest complaint is you pull down to try to pass somebody, you ain't going to go anywhere.
Yeah,
except out of line and to the back.
Yeah, you're not.
Except
with
out
a
of line and
restrictor
to the
plate.
back, yeah. Well, but honestly, I can't say that that's bad. That's bad business. I mean, it might be smoke and mirrors to fill the TV thing, but you're not going to get TV time if you don't have. Right? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. But, how's NHRA getting it? That's beyond me.
Well, I think the TV audience is way bigger than the on-hand audience, because the on-hand audience is paying a premium. And let's face it, it's not the,
experience it once was, right?
Well, and it's not that. I mean, what do you pay to get into South Sound? I haven't been there in 25 years, so I don't know.
It was pretty spendy.
Oh, well, it depends.
55 bucks?
No. 20... Probably Garrett's race was probably 22 or 25.
Okay, so what's it to get into a NASCAR race? You're looking at $120 for a mediocre seat. The average person, that's a big chunk of change. And when you can sit at home and drink your own cheap, nasty beer from your own seat, recliner, and
watch the race.
And throw stuff at the wife and the kids, I mean, why go to the race?
Right.
For $120 a person.
You're right. But I think a lot of the reason why those stands were back in the day was it was an experience.
Yes,
I mean, you had professional spectators that's what they loved to do was to go and tailgate.
Bristol.
Yeah.
Bristol was sold out for years. Guess what? You can go buy a seat for Bristol now at any time. It's lost it.
God, it's crazy because there used to be people. I mean, the draw was almost the tailgating parties outside as much as it was the race. Those people would be in there. They'd have their barbecuers outside the thing. It was awesome.
But and here's one way I'm going to look at this. Talladega at one time had 143,000 seats. That's what their seating capacity was.
And that was probably the largest on the circuit, right? I'm gonna guess was Talladega.
No, actually, well,
or Fontana, right? Fontana is probably
Texas is a little bit bigger.
Yeah, more
Vegas will actually, Daytona. They're all right there. I mean, there's a bunch of them right in there, but they took out almost half of their seats at Talladega. How do you cut your pay? How do you cut that money in half? I couldn't find. That was one of the things I was looking for. Was trying to do the research what the ticket prices then was now.
Well,
did we move this ticket price up so high that now that figure ain't even going to be worth anything?
Well, and what you said too was, and I didn't even think about it, so you just said it. But you've got a cost to remove those seats, right? So if you're not bringing anything in and you're bringing half, now you've got that expense of removing all those seats. It might be. I'm not so sure it is a smart business move because you can just let those seats sit there once they're paid for and done, right? I mean, they're empty, but they're not costing you anything.
What was it? Charlotte. They put big covers over the top of them down in 3 and 4 and had advertisement on them.
Well, that's a smart. At least, hey, we got empty seats. Let's make some money. Here's how we do it.
But there's at the end of that article, there was a guy talking about he goes in and he will take these seats out, like Daytona. He got a bunch of Daytona seats, and he's reselling them.
Well, listen to this. Wayne Thompson says it gets boring watching Follow the Leader. Boring. And then he says Vegas with the motorhome was over $300.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, but the average person for an experience, that's pushing the envelope as far as an experience goes. Now, $20, $25, $30. I mean, even that. When you're bringing a family in, say you've got a couple of teenagers and maybe one under 5. But I mean, you bring 3 or 4, and then you go get a hot dog and a hamburger. I mean, you're going to spend $100 for the day, easy, if not more. But
you went to the Mariners game.
Yeah, $300 though. I mean, come on. That's a.
What is it at Seattle to park along the motorhome?
I think about that much.
It's $300 to park your motorhome alongside the track.
Yeah.
And that don't include getting your ticket.
Jeez, that's almost crazy. Maybe they sold the seats to dirt tracks.
They did.
Says JP.
They did. Actually, this guy is going in like at Daytona. He bought a bunch of their seats. He got them set up at Golden Isles, Plymouth, Volusia, a lot of the dirt tracks down in Florida, he sold them. He's made money by going in and taking them out and then selling them to the dirt tracks.
So right after I say it's good business, and then I say, no, it's not, and then it's, yeah, it is. So, I mean, it's a
catch-22.
It is a catch-22.
But it just seems to me that when you take out that many seats and you've got to, how do you make up the revenue? At one time you were on top of the world, and now you got another thing that's coming up, which is I haven't.
And it's still costing you the same to put one of these on.
More. And then you turn around and your biggest draw in NASCAR is retiring. Earnhardt. This is his last year of racing. There's people that said they've actually interviewed people. Well, what are you going to do next year? Well, no use coming to races. Dale ain't here.
Wow. So you really don't realize. Yeah, I've always said, man, professional athletes, LeBron James, any of those guys, right? And you say, geez, if that guy's worth $118 million over 3 years, then by God, I'm worth $1 million, right? And so you go, but you know what? It's all about putting butts in the seat, and that's why those guys get paid what they do, because they do put butts in the seat.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., 13 years, most popular driver. How much is being sold in them trailers out there? How much?
And seats. How many seats has he sold over his career?
Yeah.
More than, easily. So, is he still worth that much? I don't know. Like they said, when he got that Budweiser deal, he made more money off of that. He was making more money off of that than he was racing.
Oh, yeah. And that's...
doesn't matter with shoes. Doesn't matter what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
Gloves, mitts, bats, whatever. But
Name of the game.
I know. I'm just waiting for the Northwest Race Report to get to the point where, yeah, that's right.
Of course.
Right.
Hey, we got a seat to sell.
That's right. or we need to get rid of it because we don't want TV. We want to have a packed studio. No, but here's what I'm saying, Jeff, though, on this line, and you tell me what you think. You know what I think would be hot? Dirt drift. He's laughing at me.
You do that every week when you're on a dirt track.
But the drift? Like the drift guys on dirt? Imagine what that would save them on tires.
That 4 or 5 sets of tires.
Yeah. Imagine that.
They wouldn't want to spend the time cleaning. They'd rather wrench on stuff than clean.
Hey.
Let me just say, some of them are a lot, some of them aren't that clean.
Yeah, they're kind of rash.
But that doesn't mean anything.
You're thrashing on it,
Yeah, yeah. What do you think, though? Would you think that's smoking? That wouldn't be smoke and mirrors, would it? Drift on the dirt?
Isn't that what the 360s do?
Pretty dang close.
But they don't drift, on that little, they've got a course where it cuts back. It's like a hairpin, then another hairpin.
I've seen some of them guys
go
fly through the infield.
Well, sure. There's 360.
Go from the top to the bottom.
Right. But, you look at that, though, Jeff, and I look around, and there's a lot of stuff where I say, why? I would think, like those super stock figure eights, you would think that place would be, packed. Because that's crazy. Coming across that intersection, it's like, oh, my God. I don't know if you've ever seen them.
Action-packed.
Oh, my gosh. It's like, and you're going, oh, how did he miss that guy, right? It's like, there's no way.
That's the way it is at the RV park. Yeah. Speaking of ORV park, what we got this week?
Yes, we are going to have a full house out there. So looking forward to seeing everybody out there and making it happen this weekend. It's race 2 of 6. So I have heard quite a few people are going to be there this weekend. So I will be heading down Friday and putting things together to get it all ready.
Well, you can't camp Friday night. I just hope you know that.
You can. You just have to pay.
You don't.
Well, I don't camp.
Oh, you don't camp?
Well, no, I have in the past.
Do you want to camp?
I'm probably gonna camp this weekend.
How much is it to camp?
$20.
So if I pitched in 10, could I camp with you?
You certainly could.
Or would it be better if just pay my own 20? And do I get a camp spot for that $20?
You can have a bunk. And if I get in and pay, then you just tell them you're staying with me, and it's only by the camper, from what I understand. So,
Wow.
Speaking of the ones that are going to have I seen Lori had a post on there where they going to go race in Wairika and then
Come all the way to ORV
come
for
on.
Saturday.
You bet. I love it.
yep.
That's cool.
Yeah, don't talk to me about no time,
Yeah.
right? Or dedication. I don't want to even want to hear it. That's it in its finest right there.
I think
the
they're
whole-
going to spend the night Saturday night too, and then drive home Sunday because it'll just be easier.
Well, I would say I hope so.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, I'm just going to tell you, if you have never been to it's no longer Stratoline. It's the Grays Harbor
ORV.
ORV. If you've never stayed at ORV after an event, you need to. They get the big. Have you ever seen those, Jeff? Have you ever seen those dryer drums that you turn and put your clothes in? I think, was it Lorenz that had one, or who somebody had a dryer, the drum, and they turned it over. It has a hold in it, so it breathes, and they put the wood in there, and it's a big campfire, and everybody has beers and sits around the camper. I'm telling you, if you want to go have the time of your life, come to Grace Harbor ORV this weekend. I'm telling you, it is a blast.
13.
Confirmed for UAS this weekend, and 2 maybes. That's potentially 15 UASs.
Is this a quarter,
I'm ecstatic over that.
Is this a quarter points for?
I think it is for our region. I believe it is a quarter point.
Oh,
race.
baby.
This one and the one at the end of the month are both quarter point
JP,
races, so.
I know you're on the show because you made a comment. You best grab Brad Berg and come up here and try to get one, dude, because Diotti and Chase have been to ORV. Now we just need to see you.
Come on up.
Come on up, man.
Make it happen.
Tell Bad Brad to come on up. And I don't. The Boop should be wonderful this year too. I'm looking forward to that. That's always a good time. You know, Lippy, I just got to say before we go, I think we got a couple minutes, but I think we need to make the food thing a bigger deal, right? Afterwards, I think we need to. You know what I mean? Like last year, it was just kind of you know, it was kind of whole. But usually the years before, it's been a really big deal. There was time allotted for, you know what I mean? It was just a little bit better, and I
For the Boop, we probably will, but we, you know, that one's going to go into the night, so that makes it a little bit more difficult.
Do we have lights?
Yes, we're going to have
Oh,
lights
baby!
in, so
Oh, baby!
we will be running into the night again. I have not heard about a curfew. This promoter has done a lot more with the neighbors. They are on very good terms, so I haven't heard of our curfew yet. So
Oh, I love it.
it might go later. We might have the tandem bike races later. We may have some.
Yeah, I'm just going to say Cox and I got hosed on that last year. There's got to be a weight rule on that deal. He was just along for the ride, that little kid. Well, that was Waldall, wasn't it? Cheater.
You know,
Waldall. God dang it.
You need to take a page out of the book from the Historics race. 12 o'clock, track shuts down, and we are having lunch. There's nobody. The only one who was out on the track was the old man from the Mercedes deal. He was out running around with his personal car taking people out there. And then 1 o'clock, we start back up again. I thought that was I just went. I was sitting there laughing. I'm going.
I think that's cool, though.
You
Because
stop for lunch?
And it makes people have to come together a little bit. I just think in some degrees that's really cool.
Oh, I thought it was cool, but it just kind of stunned me. You're stopping for what?
Yeah.
I'll have another beer.
Hey, yeah. No. Not at lunch.
non-racers.
Oh,
only.
non-racers, yes. But even that's scary because, hey, well, I'm not racing during lunch. I'm a non-racer. Right? I'm a non-racer. Not till 1 o'clock do I become a racer again. No. But how you like that new rival, JP? Nice, Ronnie. Yeah, same here. Good stuff. He's lying. He still likes his slack pretty good. But he's only here so he doesn't get arrested. Or is that it? Or yelled at?
Get fined.
Or it doesn't get fined. Oh, yeah, okay.
All of which could happen.
Yeah. Big shout out to you, Ronnie, though, for showing up last week. That was really cool. You fought traffic and everything to get there. That was pretty slick. Betty was the potluck queen. I sure miss her.
Amen to that.
Yes. So what would it hurt to say this weekend at ORV, those that can deal in, you know what? Bring a dish. Let's have a potluck after this one too. So if you remember, bring a dish, bring some food, bring something, and let's have a potluck afterwards. Why not? And let's get together and let's get to know one another and let's keep. Man, these UAS guys are killing me. That's potentially 15 UAS. That's crazy cool.
That's good numbers. They had great numbers in Spokane, so I'm glad to hear that. Yeah. I'm glad to hear people supporting it for the Northwest UAS.
I love it. I know. I just love it for the whole sport. I just think it's great. So whatever, I don't know what we're doing, but by God, we got to keep it up, and hopefully it spills over. I think, I know we're over time, but I think we need to get that Yamaha series back going too. Before we lose, like they were talking about doing Yamahas and 206s together, which I think is a very smart move. But when RV is over, we're heading down to the street. We're heading down the street to the ASCS race. Okay, that's fine, Ronnie. You don't have to bring any food. That's okay. You're gonna go racing. I get that.
I'll meet you at the ASCS race.
Yeah, are you coming up Saturday, or are you gonna be?
He'll be at the ASCS race.
Oh, he's going to be.
It don't start till 5 though.
Oh, so we might see the loader out at ORV. I'm going to be there, and I'm going to tell you what. I'm just going to say, you've seen Terry Bridges, but you haven't seen Terry Bridges this week. I'm fired up. I am fired up.
Have loader will travel.
I am fired up. So get ready. Get ready. I'm just going to be in a zone.
Are you going to be at the midget race at Elma?
Midgets are at Elma too. That's right. Shane Biles. I have to go because I've stood him up for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah,
he's ready to thump me, and so I don't want to get thumped by Shane.
Yeah, I'm walking up there. Where's Terry? I'll call him.
And so Jeff says,
like normal, he won't answer his phone.
What does he say? What am I, chopped liver? What do you mean, where's Terry? No. That's awesome. I probably should go, but we can still do the potluck, maybe. Maybe we'll do the potluck for lunch. We'll shut her down at 12 and
have lunch.
And we'll have lunch. No, anyway. Well, that's it for us tonight. I can't wait either. It's going to be so exciting. 15 UASs maybe. That's just...
Lori running UAS?
Lori Fuller is not running UAS, but I bet you Jeremy Brown is.
Oh yeah, he's loaded up and ready already.
Yeah. And this Brandon Rutledge, I'm telling you, you better keep your eye on this guy. He swept it he swept Meyer and all that. Meyer's no slouch in 206, so we'll see. Hopefully Swire shows up. I don't know if Kyle Keenan will be there, but rumor had it that Keenan was thinking about putting together a UAS deal. So, man, a lot of cool stuff going on. We're going to let you get out of here. I know Jeff's got to get up early. So here's the deal. Doesn't matter what you're doing this weekend, you've got a local track somewhere. Bring your family, bring your friends, bring your people that haven't seen it before, especially the go-karts. We need to get this going. Grace Harbor ORV, we're going to be there. It's going to be rocking. I'm going to have the music going. We're going to be jamming. The pits are going to be hopping. And me and the loader and Lippy, well, maybe the loader. The loader might be loading something so he can go race Saturday night. But anyway, Lip.
It's all good. Hope to see everybody out at ORV this weekend.
No kidding. The last time you'll maybe get to see him in the presidential capacity because this is his last year. So we need to bow heavy to this man. He's done a lot for the sport, continues to, and if somebody is on the bottom this Saturday, Lippy, what do you got to do?
Hit the high side.
Hit the high side. We love you. Don't forget, God is good. Be a man of God, always. We'll see you this weekend. We love you. Take care. I just want to give a big shout out to our special Blue Line Graphics in the seat guest, Mr. Chris Ager, for being on the show, and all the great sponsors: Speed City LLC from down in Medford, True Tech Automotive, and formerly O'Hagan's Carts and Supplies. We appreciate all the support from Jerry O'Hagan, and we'll see you next week.